Good morning, YouTube family. How the heck are you on this hump day, this Wednesday? Doing great. Had a transaction finally close yesterday. You'll enjoy this story. A title company in another state said that they wired the money, but it was short. We're all scrambling trying to find out how short it was. Turns out they hadn't wired the money because somehow they noticed they were short and didn't have all the money. They were only short by $65. I said, well, isn't there a tip jar in the break room or something? Those things should have been very easy to adjust, 20 bucks here, 20 bucks there, and get that 65 and erase it. But title companies all boil down to the one person that you're working with and how efficient they are. And in this case, I didn't give them 5 stars. We finally got it resolved yesterday. The great news is the seller on the other end for this was a contingency offer. And it shows you how sticky that stuff can get. Because you've put an offer on a house that's contingent on the successful closing of your other home. And if there's hiccups, the person that's selling the home here, it's just sweating bullets. But the seller here was a fellow real estate agent, and she was fantastic. So patient, understanding, knew why it was slowed down. So that was good to see. So yesterday was like, ooh, oh, we got through it. It was supposed to close on Friday. So that was nervous. And I got a new toy here. So this is called a Stream Deck. And so when I say I push buttons, I literally push buttons to change from scene to scene. So let's hope that's working. Good morning. It's Talamir. Good morning to you. Hey, I want you guys to guess how many listings we have today. Put it in the chat box. You should be getting pretty good at this about now. How many homes do you think are available for sale today in our market? I'm not even going to give you a hint. So I'm going to say that over the past 7 days, we've had 4,272 homes come on the market and 4,138 go under contract. Again, slightly smaller by just 134 units less than what came on. Not moving the bar. Okay, here's the guesses. 4789, 5092. You guys are educated, I'm telling you. You've been following the market, but you're not there yet. I'm cheating. I get the look. You could probably go to Realtor.com right now and look it up under market, but who would want to do that? Okay, you ready? It's 4,512. Remember that Tuesdays are always the lowest number, followed by possibly lower numbers on Wednesday, and that seemed to be the case here. So we went slightly down on Wednesday. So not bad. Now we start climbing up with the numbers starting to climb tomorrow and then on Friday, and then we're ready for the weekend for people to gobble up the homes. So have you seen the headlines? The headlines say that new building is pulling back. Now that's national. Nationally, they're pulling back. And so there's a lot of 5,200. You were almost there. There was a lot of writing about this and a lot of conjecture as to why this is going on. Do the builders see things that we don't see? Why are they pulling back? How much did they pull back? And the number nationally is something like 9%. And so what we're seeing is construction on new homes retreat as builders grapple with supply chain headaches. This article on Realtor.com, it's from MarketWatch actually. It says that U.S. home builders started construction on homes at a seasonally adjusted rate of 1.7 million in April, representing a 9.5% decrease from the previous month's downwardly revised figure. So we're comparing month to month because remember, it doesn't do any good to compare the last year when we were all shut down. So Alan, we're still learning. Yes, you're getting there. So we're down 9% from last month, and that was a surprise because people thought that we would continue to go up. And what's happening, it said single-family housing starts and permits declined on a monthly basis by 13%, roughly 4% respectively. The decline in single-family starts outweighed a 4% increase in multifamily starts. Permits for buildings with 5 or more housings also increased. So they go on the big picture here, and in this article on MarketWatch, they're saying that Overall, we think building activity for new single-family homes will remain supported by low inventories of new and existing homes and still positive demand. However, rising input costs and lack of availability are boosting prices, a headwind for affordability. So they're saying that we're still going to have a lot of new construction going on, but this is going to, with them slowing down, this is actually going to cause another, kink in inventory in resale homes, because if they're not building more homes, inventory is not going to grow anytime soon. Calendar here says in Phoenix Metro, Fulton has stopped breaking ground on new homes until all current under construction homes have finished the framing stage. So here's what's happening. In new construction, they're trying to just stay very close to their existing inventory and move it. They don't want to be stuck with a bunch of framed homes and all of a sudden there's no buyers. That's one theory, that they don't want to get stretched out too far. That's why you only see them releasing a few lots at a time. Now, there's also some data out there that says that that new mortgage applications have dropped, but they've only gone down 2.5%. So I'm not buying that number. They haven't gone down far enough to make builders worry. And I'm going to show you a chart here in just a couple minutes. It tells you what I think is going on. What we're looking at too is more than 1 million loans in forbearance are scheduled to expire in June. Now, this is kind of throwing a chink in the armor of the people that felt that forbearances were going to turn into foreclosures. Because look at these numbers. The number of loans in active forbearance plans, and of course, if I would put that up there, it would make more sense. There we go. The number of loans in active forbearance plans dropped by 2.7% just last week. Black Knight says, this is a data company, says this continues a recent trend of strong improvements in the forbearance numbers and in the early part of each month. The 61,000 loans that exited the program during the week ending May 11th leaves 2.16 million loans still in various lender programs. So 2.16 million homes are still in forbearance, but this month, 1 million homes are coming off. So those numbers are just about fading away to where it's insignificant. So they're not going to turn into foreclosures based on what we're seeing now. They're rewriting their notes. They're getting back to normal. Away we go. So here's another one that shows single family housing starts crash in April. That's that little red number right there. Convert it to a chart here. Saying the plunge was dominated by a 13.4% plunge, single family home starts. This chart says housing permits saw the opposite pattern. In other words, permits went way up. Remember last month, we had a number that said that housing permits reached a record in March here in the Valley. Our construction here is in the West. Most of this is in the Midwest and in the South. But in the West, we're not seeing much of a pullback. But housing permits have gone way up. Cromford Report, we talked about that a little bit. So in Mortgage News Dailies, they're saying construction starts pulled back in April due to supply problems. So they're saying that, you just can't get the materials. So here's what I see what's going on, folks. This is lumber. Okay, look at this chart. Now, lumber prices, as you know, has gone up and up and up and up, and so has copper. But if I'm looking at this chart and I see that there's a big dip here, it's come down severely, actually very well, recently in May, I think you're going to sit back and say, let's wait this out. Let's kind of pull back on our building here a little bit, because maybe by July, these lumber prices are going to be considerably lower. So let's wait it out. Slow down our construction for a little bit. Now, they're still making money. Even though lumber prices are going up, it's adding about $25,000 to the cost of a new home. But if maybe they're going to wait it out and see what happens, because it's interesting to watch what's going on in the commodities market right now. We're seeing crude oil's down, natural gas is down a little bit, gasoline's down, heating oil's down. Here's gold is up, silver's down, platinum's down. Look at all these red numbers. Soybean, lumber down 25.4% in 1 week. Maybe it's time to just sit back and see where this is going. But look at all these numbers that are down. Where's the inflation, folks? Everything's coming down. Beef, poultry's up a little bit, feeder cattle. Then you get down here, copper's down, but it was up. Steel is going down. Iron ore's up a little bit. Let's see what's going on with cobalt. They need this for batteries, right? It's down 2.2%. So lead is up. There's a lot of stuff going on in the commodities market, but here's the forecast for lumber based on just this site that I found called Trading Economics. So they're saying, yeah, it's going down, but it's going to muddle. It may not. It may end up continuing this downward trajectory. Now, if you're a chart follower, that's what they're doing here. If you're drawing a line here and a line there and trying to look at a moving average, they may be correct. If it breaks below this line, and that's what they have there, you can barely see it, the moving average. If this breaks below this line, that could be a great improvement in lowering the costs of building new homes. So we'll see what happens. But they're having other problems as well, and that is just finding help, finding people in the trades to build houses. There's not enough skill out there willing to come back. Well, they just don't, they left. A lot of them got different jobs after the crash in 2008. So you used to see that they would take and build new homes, and they'd build like 100 at a time and just build these huge developments, and they were selling. But then they stopped selling. So they had these huge developments, and then financing was no longer available because of the collapse of Lehman Brothers and everything that melted down. And now here there's builders hanging on to these houses that were empty for a long time. And a lot of builders went belly up. So they don't want to take that risk. If they see any news at all right now that says, mortgage applications are down 2.5, looks like interest rates might creep up, let's be very, very careful. So it's not a bad thing, but they're just way more cautious than they used to be. So they're building enough to keep themselves out of trouble and to make money, but not enough to satisfy the inventory that we need. And with an inventory down at 4512, and if builders back off, we're going to be in deep, deep trouble. But that has a tendency to work itself out. So if we end up with interest rates not going up and lumber coming down, then we could see a wave of building. So we'll have to watch the June numbers and see what happens. Most of this that you're going to read right now is they're going to be just national numbers. They're going to go, builders are pulling back. Oh no, what's the problem? And you've got to go back and you got to look. There's always, the devil is in the details. You have to look and see where this is happening. And national numbers, sometimes it's affected by weather. So there's a lot to look at. I'm not panicked by this. I don't see anything in Arizona that's going to show that our builders are just going to stop building because there's too much money in it for them right now. And I don't see a slowdown, and we still have people moving here. So, but let's watch it, because the number that we want to see is what's going to happen in our inventory numbers. And if our current inventory numbers don't come up and we get a pinch in building, that number's going to shrink. And I don't know how much lower it can shrink. Now, I've had some people ask me, do you think I should sell my rental homes now? I interviewed Sam DeGreen yesterday, and he says he's got a lot of clients that come into their firm and say, hey, I want to get rid of my rental housing. I want to get rid of it before the new capital gains tax comes on. So they're saying they want to sell it, go ahead and take their capital gains hit. And he says they're getting a pretty big number of people coming in wanting to do that. And I talked about that a few days ago, saying, will people that own all these rentals, will they want to sell before capital gains go up, or are they going to try and ride it out? According to Sam, he said they're not willing to ride it out. Most taxes, when they go up, tend to stay there. And it's a lot easier to raise taxes than it is to lower them. So he thinks most of his clients are probably going to dump their rental houses sooner than later and not ride it out. Now, capital gains right now is just a proposal. They haven't got anything inked in stone yet. So that's going to be interesting to watch. And that's, I don't think that's going to be a big number. I don't think that people selling their rentals is going to be a big number. What I want to watch is at the end of next month, the rental moratoriums are going to expire. What will that mean? Will Ma and Pa that have a rental, or even the big firms that own rentals, will they decide to get out? The big firms, I don't think so. I think they're going to hang on to their rentals unless Congress goes after them and tries to grab some of that money somehow, because it's a big pot, it's trillions of dollars. But mom and pop, someone like me that owns a couple rentals and I've just been burned, having been collecting rent for a year, I might just want to say, I've got equity, I'm getting out. So at the end of June, we're not going to see those numbers till July or August, because let's say somebody moves out in June, you're going to go in and paint it, put new carpet in, do whatever you got to do, fix it up. You're going to put it on the market in August. So if rental moratorium causes more inventory, we won't see it for 60 more days after that. So we'll continue to watch it. And then when I ask you to guess in August, you might be putting up numbers that say 8 or 9,000 instead of 4 and 5,000. So other than that, folks, take on the day. Have a fabulous Wednesday, and I will see you tomorrow.